been on timing, let me control your body. Don't even mind your games, cause you's a hardy. We can get away, hey baby, let's lose this party. Took shots of tequila, now she can't refuse this body. No, you can't get away from me. It's just me and you, and it's a remedy. We zooted off shrooms, so we feeling everything. In love with my Lucy, I love what I see. I love what I see. Lights, camera, action, yeah, you focused on me. Say that you love the way I touch upon and feel it with ease. In times where we're losing, don't you let us hit ease. We're stuck in a lucid dream, and you got what I need. So let me intake what's on your body. You say Chanel and Prada, I say it's nice and naughty. No, it ain't easy with all that body. I say we get about it. Who cares? We don't see nobody. You been on timing, let me control your body. Don't even mind your games, cause you's a hardy. We can get away, hey baby, let's lose this party. Took shots of tequila, now she can't refuse this body.
Yo, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome back everybody to another live stream. Hold up, let me just check the quality of the audio. Everything sounds good. Yes, sirskis. So we are good. Okay, let me see. So, all right. So you guys have seen the title of this live stream. So if you're struggling with recording, mixing, I'm not really gonna get too deep into mastering. But if you guys are struggling with that, then you have stumbled upon the right video. Let me see. Do we have any people in here? We have one viewer, which is just myself as of right now. But okay, so cool. So basically, what I am going to do is, if you guys can see for the description, if you guys are watching live right now, in the description of this video, you're gonna see a Google form. So let me just load it up for you guys real quick. Watch. So this is the Google form. Go to my channel. Click the live description. Mute the audio. And alright, so this is the live stream that we're watching right now, right? Hold up, let's go to this one. Alright, so we're looking at the live stream right here. What's good, everybody that's watching? Okay, cool, we got 4 people in here so far, so good. But if you guys have sessions, right? So what you're gonna want to do is click the link of this video right here, and then go to the forms page. And then once you click it, you're gonna have the prompt. So these are the instructions to submit your songs. So basically, this is for Pro Tools only right now. So I could open and look at your Pro Tools sessions, okay? And then if so what you're gonna want to do with Pro Tools open is do a save copy in. If you guys don't know how to do that, I'm gonna show you guys how to do that in a second. But the reason why we want to do a save copy in is for a few things. So right now my audio interface is set to 48 kilohertz sample rate. We need you to do that sample rate, and 32-bit float is fine, or 24-bit is fine. And then we're gonna rename everything or whatever. So that's what we're gonna do first. And then make sure you include name your files like this. Okay, so this is an example. And then include a bounce of your rough mix, and then you're gonna compress it, and then you send it right here. So you click add file. And then what you do is you go to upload, so you browse your desktop for your file location, and then you add it so we could get it reviewed. Real quick, we got 5 people in here. Does that make sense? Do you let me know if you guys need any help or anything like that. But basically, so this isn't a session, this is just a blank session. What's good, Cam? How you doing, Cam? But yeah, so this is a blank session. Okay, bet, cool. Yeah, for sure. All right, so real quick, before I think if you followed I'm not too sure if you saw the instructions, Cam, but basically, yeah, the reason. So what we're gonna do is go to File on the top left, go to Save Session, Copy In for your session. So once you have your session open, put Save Copy In. If you're on 44.1, make sure you just switch this to 48K. It's not gonna do anything, and then 32-bit float. It could be 24 or 32-bit float, and then just click audio files, and that's it. That's all you have to do, and then press OK. And then once you do that, save it to your desktop or whatever. And then remember, we're gonna follow the file format of the form. So it's artist name, song title, and then version. So basically, all you have to do, if we're gonna do this, we could just put like, I could put like Jamario for like the artist. Song title would be Control, and then the version we could just put like version 1, version 2, or whatever. So you're gonna save that to your desktop. Boom. Yeah, cool. Appreciate you, Cam. Yeah, so you're good. And then yeah, and I'll check. I'll take a look at yours first too. But yeah, I'm just explaining for anybody who didn't catch the story. And then let me see. Oh, it didn't. Hold on, I think I did it wrong. Oopsies. All right, let's do it one more time. So we're gonna File, Save Session, Copy In. Session latest. Okay, so we're gonna do the audio files, and then we're gonna do the session plugin settings folder. Right, that should be it. And then let me see. Let me just check and make sure, so that way I'm giving you guys the right instructions. So we're gonna go right here, desktop, Jamario underscore control underscore, and then let's just say like V1. Let's just say. And does it do it? Not too sure why it's not creating a proper folder. Let me see. It's probably because, oh, I know why. It's because it's not a real session. Let me open up a real session right here. Because this is just my template. So let's go to sessions, and then I can go down to Jamario, record, 48 kilohertz rain. Don't save. All right. All right, bet, bro. I'm gonna check it out right now. I'm just making sure that I have the instructions clear. Alright, cool. So this one's loading up. Let me check to see if I got yours, Cam, while I'm here. Let's see. I have that over here on this side. 4 responses. Yep. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I got Cam's, and then I got Mesro. Alright, bet. So I'm gonna close out of this, and then let me just double check the save copy in works. So save copy in, 48 kilohertz, right? And then let's put it to 32-bit audio files, and put OK. Go to desktop. So this would be Jamario underscore rain underscore. Let's just say like version 2. It's just doing the PTX. No, there you go. So now it's copying all the files. So this is what it should do. It should copy over all your files, and then there you go. Then you have this, right? So you have your audio files all in one folder, and then you have your session right here. And then what you guys do, I'm on Windows, so basically you right click, and if you're on Windows, you might have to download WinRAR, but you compress it. On Mac, you just right click and compress, and then once it's compressed, you're gonna get the compressed file right here, and then just upload it to that form. So that's pretty much it for right now. So I'm gonna just download yours, Cam, first, and then I'm gonna do let's see. So that's just the quick little example just to show you guys. And then let me grab it right here. So let me refresh it. Okay, yeah. So Cam. All right, cool. I'm downloading yours right now, Cam. Alright, so I'm gonna just leave the session open for right now. Click session plugin settings folder so the plugins have the same settings when you send the session. Okay, bet. I've tried that before actually, and I think it only works for like some plugins, or like only some plugins require it. But yeah, I guess, yeah, just to be safe. So session plugin settings folder, and then audio files. Because I've done it before without the sessions plugin settings folder, and it's worked perfectly fine for me too, which is why I don't usually always check it on. But yeah. Alright, cool. So I'm downloading yours right now, Cam, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna download Mesros 2 after, but let me see, give me a second. So I got 44 seconds on yours, Cam, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm late for class. You're good. It's cool. We're just getting started, so we're just settling in. Let's see. So everything's looking good right here. Yeah, I'm just waiting on the download, and then I'm gonna open it up. All right, cool. Let me see. Let me unpin that. What am I downloading? I'm downloading. So if you're just tuning in today, what we're going to be doing is I'm basically giving live feedback for viewer sessions on Pro Tools. So if you're on Pro Tools and you want to get feedback on your session, you could upload it. So again, just to walk you through the process, all you have to do is click the first link on my YouTube. So let me go back to my YouTube. I'm gonna just keep it right here so that way you guys could see it. And then let me go to my channel, videos, or well, it was right there, the live, right? So we're here on the live. So basically all you have to do is click this form. Once you click this form, you follow the settings or follow the instructions. Make sure you click this session plugin settings, folder 2, next, boom. But whatever. But that's what I'm downloading. I just downloaded yours, Cam. So let me just drag yours here. And then let's get started. So let me just extract here. And then to Cam, if you have any like specific questions, from what I'm looking at with the file names, it looks like this is like a full track out mix. So I could for sure help you out with that too. But let me just if you have any questions specifically that you feel like you want to improve, always feel free to let me know. But now we're gonna go this, and then do I have the PTX? Yeah, it's right here. There it is. So audio file. Alright, bet. Oops. So Santino X CFA wallet. Wait, hold on. Actually, let me just double check the sample rate, because sometimes it glitches out. I just want to make sure. So the sample rate 48K. Alright, yeah, we're good. So I'm gonna just go ahead and open it. Cool. And then I'm gonna download yours, Mesro, right now. So I'm gonna do yours next. Let me see. Yeah, I don't have any plugin alliance right now. Some of the plugins may not work, but I'm just gonna like look over all the other stuff, and then I'm just gonna move some of the old ones since I just downloaded it. All right, let's see what we got here. Boom. All right, cool. So this is a full stem mix, right? So we have the leads, we have the ad-libs, we have the stem. So this is the music, this is the drums. Okay, so this is like the mix print. Do you have, okay, so sends group, this is for the sends, this is for the throws. Okay, I mean, from what I'm looking at so far, everything looks pretty organized. Okay, you put the 808 with the drums. I see. And then you're using slip, I'm gonna use grid. Alright, cool. So let me just listen to the print actually. So let me take that off of solo safe and then just solo it, and let's hear what it sounds like.
I just need it. I just need that money, need that quality. 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 Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000. And no, we need to be no demon, but I'm rocking product. Just tell me the language, just I'm on the speaker, you know, like it's to the facts. Find someone I feel like cars, I'm like you know that I'm moving too fast. These niggas are boxed in, they live like squares. My bitch is a top 10, this can't compare. I play no games, this shit's not fair. You're like going stuck in a circle like you just got lost in a fair. I'm walking and I look like Guala Guala. I wonder why these white niggas even bother. Call me daddy, I am not your father.
facial audit. Drip, drip, drop. I spin my watch. Time to rush the clock. Too much filler, bitch was looking botched. She was courtside, I was in a box.
I just need that money, need that quality, quality. I just need that money, need that quality, quality. I just need that money, need that quality, quality. I just need that money, need that quality, quality. Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000. And I don't need to be no demon, but I'm rocking product. Just tell me the names, just I'm on the speaker, you know that I get to the facts. First of all, I feel like cars electric, you know that I'm moving too fast.
Boom, nice. All right, that's pretty cool. So that's the print that we're listening to right here, which is good because I do not have some of these plugins, so it may sound a little bit different, but from what I was listening to, I do have a few notes. And then real quick, appreciate you, Apon D&D. Thank you for tapping in. And then Tay from MLA. That's how you pronounce your name, right? Tay from LA. My bad. If you want like direct quotes on mixing and mastering or whatever, just fill out the form too. I have another form right here. Just click this form, and then I just need project details for your project, and I'll be able to help you out with mixing and mastering. And then what else? Buka Beats. Appreciate you all the way from Ghana. Let's get a quick little applause for that. You know, tuned in from Ghana. The mix is, wait, let me see. The mix is a folder. Yeah, I see that. So this is the mix bus lead all. So personally, I don't really use the folders all too often in Pro Tools. Like they're not bad, but let me see. But I mean, you're using it moderately too. So you have like the leads and the ad libs, the music, and this. So my question is too, like, why don't you have these foldered out? I mean, these are just for what I'm spacing out, just so you can see it or what. Okay, so first things first, what I would do is, so it looks like there's two people, right, featured on this song. So it's Santino x Kafa, right? So if there's two people featured on this song, I'm curious to see how you approach mixing the vocals or what I could change. Okay, yeah, for sure. So from the mix, so let me mute this, right? I'm gonna mute the print, and then the mix bus is a folder, so I'm gonna just output this to my 1 and 2, right? And then let me just make sure that everything's playing right. Okay, so let me see. So the mix output master output 1 and 2. Let's see. We're not getting sound. Let me see. So this is solo safe mix. So all Vox. Where are the groups at? Where did you leave? Is the all vocals group to the side over here? Lead all. That's up here, right? Lead all to all Vox. Lead all to all Vox. But where's the all Vox track? And then also too for the instrumental track and these tracks, throws group, sends group, 250 room, 1/8, this is that. I'm just trying to look for the tracks. I'm curious to see. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see the all Vox. Let me see. Hold on. So these go to the leads go to the lead all, and lead all goes to the all Vox. Do you have all Vox? It's in the mix folder. All right, makes sense. All right, but let's go to medium. Let me see. Something's not playing because it's solo safe. Let me see, because we're getting signal here, and this goes to the mix. This is all mixing. This is this solo safe. So first we just gotta get some sound. Let's see. let me go to the IO and then output. Let me see, because it's saying MacBook speaker. I don't have MacBook speaker. Bus output 1, 2. You gotta reset your output to yours now. Yeah, I mean I set it to mine, but it's like defaulted on the IO to let me see. Input, output, output. Let me see. Let's do default. Okay. Output. I'm not doing 3, 4. Let's see. That's all right. Just give me a second. That's what part of this is. Session setup is a interesting thing. Setup IO, and then we have this default. Because let me just close the session and reopen it. Yeah, because I mean, look, if this was not work, because look, we have it set out to right here. If we didn't have the sep, that wouldn't be playing, right? It's because this, let me see, I'm gonna delete the master bus and then let me mute this, because this is still playing, so everything else should still play. And then let's see, alright, so let's see, let's just figure this out. It might be a plugin too that I do not own. Let me see, so I'm gonna just remove the ones that I don't have right here. Oh, it's the God particle. That's what it is. That's what it was. There you go. All right. There you go. Figured it out. But all right, so God particle aside, let's just hear what the mix is sounding like. All right, Nate, real quick, before I go into this, if you want to submit your file, just go to the description, click this forms, it's going to take you here, and then just follow the instructions right here, go to next, and then add your file here, and then I'll be able to open it up. So that's what you do. But all right, so let's just go back to it. So I'm just going to go to the drop real quick, and I'm going to put a quick little limiter for, just for like loudness sake, since we removed the God particle. So let's go right here.
I just need that money, need that quality. 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 Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000. And I don't mean to be no demon, but I'm rocking product. Just tell me the names, just tell me the speaker, you know, I get to the facts. I'm some other freeware cars, I'll let you know that I'm going too fast. These niggas are boxed in, they live like squares. My bitch is a top 10, this can't compare. I play no games, this shit is not fair. You're like going stuck in a circle like you just got lost in a fair.
I'm walking and I look like Guala Guala.
All right, cool. So the first thing that I would do is, I know you probably just like consolidate all of these for the session, so that's good on your end. I mean, usually I like to like clear all this stuff out and then just like kind of like leave it more for the vocals at least, like slice stuff so I could visually see each section. This is just a personal preference. If you consolidate the track, that's perfectly fine too. You do not have to do what I'm doing right here. But okay, so see, as you can see here, we have intro, we have Kafa, and then we have Tino, right? So the first thing that I would do is split these into their own tracks from Kafa and Tino, right? So we have two artists, if you guys can see, we have Santino and Kafa, okay? that's one of the first things that I would do. So I would have a leads and an ad-libs bus separate for each artist. So what we could do here real quick is we could just duplicate this, right? And then after we duplicate this, we're just gonna duplicate only the insert, sends, and markers just for right now, since you already have the processing of Kafa and Tino to this. And then basically, so I would give them their own sections. So you put the buses on the top. Personally, I put the buses on the bottom, but just for continuity's sake, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here, and then we're going to give, okay, so Tino already has his own tracks, and then Kafa has his own tracks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this down right here, and then for this, I'll just call this, right, we're going to call this Tino leads, because this is Tino, so T1NO, right? Yeah, so Tino leads, and then what we're going to do is we're going to output and then not only just the Tino leads, but also, so there's ad-libs here. I'm not too sure if this is just or if these are Kafa's ad-libs as well as Tino's, but I would break that into its own thing. And then what I'm doing is so to duplicate this, I pressed Shift Alt and then D, right, to get this duplicate tracks menu. And then I'm gonna do the same thing, insert, sends, markers, just to create a duplicate of the tracks. And then I'm gonna drag these down, assuming that they're part of Tino's ad-libs that he recorded them, right? And then we're gonna grab these, and then we're gonna lower them down, and then I'm gonna duplicate this ad-libs track again. So it's a lot of just routing. Usually, if you have a template, then you don't really need to do all this kind of stuff. But this is what I would do, because and the main reason, let me explain, is the main reason why we want to split it into separate tracks or whatever. And then for Tino, let's just like leave it simple. So we'll use a bright color, right? So we'll do like bright, let's just do like bright, let's do bright blue, okay? And then for the ad-libs, we'll do bright blue again. And then for the leads, we'll do a little bit of the darker blue, kind of like how you have it set for Kafa's, right? And then let me just do, oops, color this and darker. All right, cool. And then, but since we created the tracks, what's gonna happen is to download my vocal chain. That's something that I would have to go into later. Right now, I'm just doing the session setup, so that's something that I would have to look into like on another occasion. But back to this, okay? So then we have the intro. The intro is perfectly good. Like, I like how the intro is fine. And then we have this, and then we have this. So basically, Kafa's gonna go to all the leads right here, and then Kafa's ad-libs are gonna go to the libs right here. But then for Tino, right, we gotta create a new bus track. So I'm just gonna create select an empty one just for oops. Just to make it simple, so I'm gonna just do it whichever empty one, and then I'm just gonna call this. Usually I'll call this vocal bus 2, cause on my template, because the way that I do it, and then I'm gonna do the same for the ad-libs. Let me know if this is making sense for you guys. So then we're gonna go 6566, rename, and then we're gonna call this ad-lib bus 2. And the reason why I use numbers versus like people specific names is because it, like on your template, if you have a template, you could just set it up to vocal bus 1, vocal bus 2, ad-lib bus 1, ad-lib bus 2, and just kind of repeat that format. So that way, like whatever artist you're working with or is on the track is going that. So the audio was like light, huh? It's because I have it on my was it too distracting, Cam? Yeah, because this is off. But yeah, so that's the reason why I would want to do that, is because we want to process each person's voice sounds different. Obviously, they sit in a different register, different everything. So you just want to and what I just did right here while I was speaking is I just merged it into one track, because there's no real need to have two tracks if you have space on one track. So then we can just hide and make that inactive. But that's why we want to do this, because we want to process each person's individual stuff differently. So then, okay, so let me just make sure that this is outputted to the right thing. So now we got to go to the actual tracks, go to bus, and then we're going to output this to the vocal bus too. So this is Tino's, and then we're going to output the ad-libs to the Tino's ad-libs, right? So now, basically, let me know if it was bleeding loudly, Cam. I think it was just like slightly, because I had the volume slightly on my phone when I was playing the audio. Okay, so, and then another thing what I would do too is, so we have hook, right? So this is the hook, this is the verse, and then this is the hook again, and then it goes to that outro. So another thing for session setup, what I like to do is I'd also like to split between hook and verse processing, just so we can go that much more into detail. So basically, the reason why we would want to do this is because, again, not only is each person's voice different, but also each section of the song is different. So you could have a completely different delivery on your hook versus your verse. Yeah, okay, cool. Appreciate you, Cam. But yeah, like, so obviously it's a lot of talking, but right now, but that's just kind of like the thought process behind it. I just want to guide you guys through it. Let me know if that makes sense, and then I'll play a few audio examples here. Okay, cool. And then we have our ad-libs, right? And then, yeah, okay, so nothing's clipping, so everything looks good here. I think, let me see like what the music is doing. So I'm going to mute all the vocals right here and all the vocal effects, and I just want to hear the instrumental real quick and see what the instrumental is peaking. Alright, cool. So we're not getting too much signal, which is also another good one. I'm not really gonna go into let's say like full stem mixing for right now. You know, like that's if I did that, this whole live stream would just be for this one song, and I'm trying to get to all of you guys' songs. I'm gonna be streaming only until like 8 o'clock, because I actually have to go to the studio after this. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do a few, but just to wrap it up quick, so basically we have everything split, right? So then we can put Kafa, rename it, go to Kafa hook 1, and then we'll do Kafa hook 2, right? And then we'll do Kafa verse 1, and then we'll do Kafa verse 2. So just renaming everything, and then you could also, well, it's not verse 2, but usually I'll name it just for now. It could be A, B, whatever. But that's that. Okay, cool. So now, as far as like the plugins go, let's just listen to what we got so far. Like, let's start off on the hook and hear what we got. And then keep in mind, I don't have these plugins, so these for sure could be most definitely contributing to the sound, but we don't have that. But aside from that, okay, so that's like the first thing that I would do for you. I see that the vocals and instrument are routed to buses. How many buses is too many? So, I mean, okay, so were you the one saying that you didn't have Pro Tools? Let me see. I'm late for class. Narat. I'm not too sure if you were the one who said they didn't have Pro Tools. I think that was Apond, right? But okay. But there, I don't think there's such thing as too many. I mean, there probably is such thing as too many, because you want to go a little bit more into. Is my stream still streaming? Okay, yeah, I'm just double checking. You just want it to make sense. Like, you just want it to be efficient. But I mean, for this is just how I'm doing it. I mean, there's no such thing as too many. It's just, I mean, everything's fine for this session. So that's a plus for you, Cam. But the only thing is, I would just split it into this way, so we have 2 separate sections, so that way we can put the processing that we need. But enough going in circles, so now let's actually listen to the plugins. So I'm just actually gonna remove these because I just don't have them. So again, these could be contributing to the sound, but I'm just gonna kind of do my own thing to it. So let's just hear what it sounds like right now. Let me unmute the vocals and the vocal effects.
I just need that money, need that quality. 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 Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, shoot cost $1,000. And no need to be no demon, but I'm rocking product. Just tell me the names, just I'm on the speaker, you know that I get to the facts. I just wanna freeway cars, electric, you know that I'm moving too fast. These niggas are boxed in. We living like squares. My bitches is top 10. This can't compare. I play no games. This shit is not fair. You're like going stuck in a circle like you just got lost in a fair. I'm walking.
Alright, cool. So the first thing that I would do is just turn the vocals up a little bit. We have RVox already. The gain. Okay, so now we're gonna look into this stuff. So we have the on this because I'm used to, I do it down, you're doing it up. So auto-tune vocal EQ for the top.
I just need that money, need that quality.
It's good. The de-esser is good.
I just need that money, need that.
The R.
I just need that money, need that quality.
So what I would do is I would just so we're compressing how much?
I just need that money, need that quality. I just need that money, need that quality.
Like 3.2 dBs, fab filters, a lot of nodes, soothe, and then air flanger, 7%. Okay, so the first thing that I would do, just aside from this, is just the vocals are a little bit low to me, so I would just turn up the vocals a little bit.
I just need that money, need that quality. I just need that money, need that quality. I just need that money, need that quality. I just need that money, need that quality.
And then actually I would get a little bit more compression. The reason why I would get more compression with this is because the delivery for this hook is a little bit like mumbly. So if I squash the signal a little bit more, that's gonna bring out a little bit more of that detail for it to be audible. So let's see. So let me just lower this down to get a little bit more compression. Let me just bring this back to like -13, so it's like the same, and then I'm gonna boost the gain, and then I'm gonna just go for like, I'll say like 60 dBs of compression with the RVox.
I just need that money, need that quality. I just need that money, need that quality. I just need that money, need that quality. I just need that money, need that quality.
And let me boost this.
I just need that money, need that quality. 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 Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000. And I don't mean to be no demon, but I'm rocking product. Just tell me the language, just I'm on the speaker, you know that I get to the facts.
Okay, so don't be afraid to also like automate the volume. I know you printed this. I tried to add a hearable rough mix, but it's still beginner level. Okay, for sure. I'm gonna see how many I can get to because we're already at 640. Still on this first song. Bear with me, guys. But so okay, what I'm gonna do here, since this section right here is a little bit more mumbly for the hook, is I'm going to just automate that clip gain. I know you printed it, so I'm not too sure if you consolidated the tracks. I'm not too sure if you already automated that, but let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm stuck. Just tell me the language, just I'm on the speaker, you know that I get to the facts.
So I'm gonna break it right here, right? And then I'm gonna just boost the volume on this section since it's a little bit more mumbly.
But I'm rocking product. Just tell me the language, just I'm on the speaker, you know that I get to the facts. Also when I freeway cars electric, you know that I'm moving too fast. These niggas.
Alright, so we're gonna highlight this, copy this over here since this is the hook.
Rocking product. Just tell me the language, just I'm on the speaker, you know that I get to the facts. Also when I freeway cars electric, you know that I'm moving too fast.
And then what I could actually do is duplicate that one more time, so this would be the hook 3. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to process this in its own way, because I'm hearing a specific tone since I boosted the gain. So what I would do is I would actually throw a EQ on the individual tracks, so that way when that section is hitting, I'm EQing out what I don't like. So what I heard a lot on this little section right here, since I boosted the audio, is just a little bit of like more of like woofiness.
Just tell me the language, just I'm on the speaker, you know that I get to the facts. Just tell me the language, I'm on the
Okay, cool. So yeah, so then now you gotta I just heard that tone, so I just want to fix that one tone only on that little track right there, because that's just what I heard. So I'm doing that real quick. Let me see, is it highlighted? Do this right here.
Just tell me the language, just I'm on. Just tell me the language, just I'm on the speaker, you know that I get to the facts.
And then let's do a little bit.
Just tell me the language, just I'm on.
I mean, aside from it's just little things. Like for you more, Cam, it was more just like the session setup. Like I would just split this into its own individual tracks, and you just recorded them a few, like a month or so ago. So yeah, like if you just do this kind of workflow, it'll just let you get the processing right for each artist, because again, everybody sits in a different vocal register. That's pretty much it. Just a little bit more compression, boost it, and then actually. Again, I removed some plugins, so you might have had something that was boosting it or whatever, like the brightness. So again, it's just gonna be limited because I don't have some plugins, but I'm just gonna add a little bit of brightness here, and then what we're gonna do is we're going to listen to the hook right here.
I just need that money, need that guala guala. I just need that money, need that guala guala. I just need that money, need that guala guala. I just need that money, need that guala guala. Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000. And I don't mean to be no demon, but I'm rocking Prada.
And then I'm still hearing that room resonance woofy tone. So okay, so we have this EQ here. I'm not really gonna touch it. So usually this is for oh, and I put this a little bit too or no, because I put it, yeah, that's a good spot because we're going into soothe. I'd rather boost and then go into soothe a little bit. Let's see what the soothe is doing.
Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000.
It's very light, so yeah, that's not too much of an issue. But where was I? So yeah, I'm hearing if you're a mixing engineer and you get sent a session, sometimes you want to leave the plugins that were already there on. Sometimes, not all the time, because sometimes they're too cooked. But Cam, this is honestly a pretty good recorded session or setup session. The only real notes that I had was just to set it up like this, so that way you could process it. And as far as like the little mixing techniques go, yeah, I mean, this is what I'm doing here. So again, so now that we have this, because again, I don't want the moves that I do for these vocals, for the Kaffa vocals, to affect the Tino vocals. I want them to be separate. I mean, I drilled that point enough, but okay, so what I'm gonna do is go back right here, and then just I'm gonna leave the rest of your settings set how you had it, because it's not a bad, where you're at is not bad. It's actually pretty good. And then we're gonna just filter a little bit of the lows.
I just need that money, need that guala guala.
Right here.
$1,000, and I don't mean to be no demon.
So me in my room, I just hear a lot of that woofy frequency right here. I think, is your Autotune taming that frequency? I'm pretty sure it is.
$1,000, and I don't mean to be no demon, but I'm rocking Prada.
But usually when you compress, it brings it back more. So I'm just gonna duck it out a little bit. But I'm gonna use a dynamic compressor or a dynamic band, because I'm not hearing it throughout the entirety of Kaffa's vocals, only in certain sections. So yeah, I'm just gonna do it like that right here with the dynamic band.
I mean, should cost $1,000, and I don't mean to be rocking Prada. Just tell me the language, just I'm in the speaker, you know that I get to the facts. I zoom on the freeway, cars electric, you know that I'm moving too fast. These niggas are boxed in, they living like squares. My bitch is a top 10, this can't compare.
And then we have H3000. So what is that? The H3000. So so this is like a doubler. So this is giving it like some width. You have an 1/8 delay. That's just like a style thing. I'll probably try like a quarter note delay, but I mean, you had it at 1/8, so I'll leave it at 1/8. And then we have a room verb. Let's hear what the room verb sounds like. So it's at -20. Let's just boost it real quick.
I just need that money, need that guala guala. I just need that money, need that guala guala.
So what is the room? So Valhalla vintage with a very short decay. Yeah, so yeah, it's adding a little bit of room. So I can see where you had it low. I mean, it's kind of dry, the vocals, but they are rap vocals. But personally, what I would probably like to do is create a I'm gonna create like a, or because you have the 250 when I don't have the 250, but it's not here on the send. I don't see any 250. That's more on the ad libs. But I would put like a plate verb. So I'm gonna just put like new track, and then we're gonna do stereo aux input, and then we're just gonna call this reverb. Just time it out, you know, like this, and then we're gonna output this to the all vocal effects. So save it. This would go in your folder since you have the folders. And then, I mean, yeah, you could do the color and the size. But, so what I would do is I would put an EQ, and then I would put a Valhalla, and then I'm just gonna make it a little bit more, because they sound like wavy vocals. You get what I'm saying? Like more vibey, more wavy. So just a little bit of reverb. You have the room verb, but you could do something like a plate, and that's just gonna give your vocals a little bit more depth. So we're gonna divide this by 155, divide this by 2, and that's our pre-delay. So 24.19. 4.19, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this, multiply this by 4, and we're gonna get 1.93. So this is just gonna be like a short little plate verb, but I mean it's the length of a plate verb, but it sets a concert hall just because I like what this algorithm or what this mode sounds like. It says hall, but this is like the length of a plate. And then we're just gonna turn this up a little bit.
I just need that money, need that quality. 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 Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000. And I don't mean to be no demon, but I'm rocking product.
And then this is just being extra, but yeah, I would use. Okay, so I'm just. This is again like this is the 8th delay, right? Let's hear it real quick. Wait, what was it? It was at -20, so let's go to this.
I just need that money, need that quality.
Okay, I mean that's cool. That's cool. So we'll leave that there just for like that left right. So you have a lot of plugins here that are giving that imaging, and actually I actually like that. Like the room sound is actually pretty nice because it gives it like a subtle ambience. So that's a plus on that. I actually really like that. And then the H3000 is like the doubler thing. So you're adding a lot of width, but I want to hear more of an effect where it gives it a little bit more bounce. So hold on, let me actually just do the new track. So go to new track, stereo aux, and I'm gonna just call this quarter delay. But the only reason why I'm adding this delay is just to get a little bit more bounce. And then don't worry guys, I'm gonna get to everybody else's here, hopefully. But let me see. So we have this quarter delay, right? And then I'm just gonna output the delay to the vocal effects solo safe. And then we're gonna put a fab filter, right? And then you could use any what do you call it? Any delay of your choice. We're just gonna filter it a little bit. And then I like to use Echo Boy, so I'm just gonna throw on Echo Boy, and then make sure the mix is at 100 because it's at ascend. 8th note, throw up a little bit of the feedback, and then now that we have this here, let's just drag this down into the folder so that way it's sitting in the folder. And then okay, cool. Oh, whoops, I grabbed the hook by accident. So boom. All right, there you go. So okay, so now let's hear it. And the reason why I'm doing a quarter note delay is just for the bounce of the song. Like it'll probably add more to the bounce of the song.
Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000. And I don't mean to be no demon, but I'm rocking product.
So it just gives it a little bit more bounce. And then I don't really like using the filters here because if you use the filters on Echo Boy, it just cuts the amount of repetitions you're hearing. So I like to personally just filter going in, control the filter going in, and then the filter going out with an actual EQ plugin.
Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000. And I don't mean to be no demon, but I'm rocking product. Just tell me the language and I'm on the speaker, you know that I get to the facts. I zoom on the freeway, cars electric, you know that I'm moving too fast. These niggas are boxed in, they living like squares. My bitches are top 10, this can't compare. I'm playing no games, this shit is not fair. You're like going stuck in a circle like you just got lost in a fair.
I'm walking and I look like
Yeah, I'm stepping on some money, should cost $1,000.
So that's at 0, and then we're just gonna tug it a little bit. What's good, Felipe? What's good, my boy? Another dub for Felipe, since we did it last time. Cardi's vocals on the new song with The Weeknd had like no effects, was just trying something different. I like what he did though. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's all just preference. Like, you know, like I'm just doing this because this is what I was going, and then I didn't understand like the pretext or the context that you had, which I get it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just little shit, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've already done this, but just little things, you know. So yeah, I'm just gonna tuck it back a little bit. Obviously that's just like artistic choice because referencing and whatever song you're referencing is a big thing. So yeah, that's just we're just gonna leave that for now. The ad-libs, let's just take a quick look. I don't want to go too crazy and then just go to Tino, and then I'm gonna move on to the next song. So let's hear that.
I just need that money, need that quality. I just need that money,
I mean, the ad-libs are doing ad-lib things, you know, there's nothing much too crazy to it. Hey, passing by today, just wanted to ask real quick, are your which are your mentors or reference? I don't have any mentors at all. I mean, I'm self-taught, and then reference, if it comes to mixing and reference tracks, I just use whatever I feel like the song kind of sounds similar to that's a commercial release. Don't worry about Tino, you can go next. Okay, for sure. I'm just gonna.
I'm walking and I look like Guala Guala. I wonder why these white niggas even bother. Call me daddy, I am not your father.
Yeah, and then it's just also too, like, a lot of like the energy of the artists and their delivery matters too. So just, I would do the same things, just filter, just brushing over real quick, you know, just filter. You know, filter out the lows and then do a little bit of low mids, boost the highs. That's pretty much it. But yeah, let me go down to the next session. So I got Mesro. Let me see. I only got Mesro and let me see. Did anybody else submit? So I just got Mesro and I got Cam. So if you guys have a session that you want me to open, that's a Pro Tools session. Let me open this up real quick. So all you guys have to do is go to the first link right here, click the link, it's gonna take you here, and then all you have to do is just follow the instructions, hit next, follow the instructions, and then add your file here, and then you can hit browse and then select your file from there if you guys wanted to submit. So the next session we have is Mesro. I'm not too sure if you're here, Mesro, but if not, you can catch the replay. But let's see. So I'm going to bring in, but let me know if you had any other questions, Cam. I mean, that's just like that's just like the little things that I would do. I've seen terrible sessions. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I've seen terrible sessions, and yours was actually very organized, very good. I'm just not used to the folders because I personally am not a fan of the folders. But it's pretty good. So let's give a quick applause to Cam for submitting the good session. You're on a good path. So yeah, just keep it going. Okay, cool. And then let me pull up. So let me just close this, right? And then I'm gonna go to my downloads. And then we got Mesro. So Mesro is next. Are you here, Mesro? Let me see. So Mesro. So now we're gonna delete this. Undo this and just delete this. So this is from Mac. The copy is fine. Refresh, delete this, and then boom, and then we got this. All right, so that's the rough mix. Cool. That's Chris, right? I think Mesro is Chris because he sent me the file earlier. Let me know if you're still in here, my boy. And then let me just make sure that the thing is 48 for the, let's say with an earlier version. Okay. 40K. Okay, yeah, so I could open that. All right, cool. So let me just go back to the folders, desktop, and then copy of Mesro. So we're gonna open that up. And then, sure, I'll just save it. So those are the settings right there. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Okay, cool. So let's see this. Is the grid set to, so it's on minutes. Okay, so I'm not too sure if you use this grid value. It's just interesting. What I would do is I would set it to bars, which it's already set to bars. All right, so that's cool. That's just how it is. So that's good. Okay, what we got here? So let me just press play real quick. All right, so let's go to the Oh, again, God particle. Make that inactive. Yep. All right, so I'm gonna just remove the ones that I do not have, so that way we don't get confused. All right, cool. What language is this?
Dreiviertel acht und der Basse macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind Dreiviertel Weed, das sind ein Viertel Hasch. Das sind dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich schaue nachts um 4. Roll die weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die wollten ziehen vorbei, ich glaube, ich sollte das probieren. Gib mal der Bass wie Bier.
Okay, so it's not too bad. It's not really bad. These aren't bad recordings for if you're a beginner and your recordings are looking like this. It's not too bad. The only thing, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these inactive since we're not recording. So I'm only doing that again just because we're not recording, so I just don't want to see those tracks. And then okay, cool. So look, you're a beginner and I'm trying to do a shortcut and it's not working. So I'm not too sure if you know, but if you press A and S, that clips it. But the only reason why your shortcuts aren't working, I'm not too sure if you're aware of this or not, but if you see right here, there's a little AZ button. You want to click that so you could make it yellow, or oh, my face is covering it. Here, let me hide my face real quick. All right, cool. So there's a button right here, right? So this little button right here, this AZ button, is probably gonna be super small for you guys on stream, but you want to make sure that this is enabled right here, so that way you could use your shortcuts. So I'm gonna turn on my cam again. Okay, cool. So now that I have that button on, I can press A to use, or I can just use shortcuts now on the playlist, right? So that's to enable the shortcuts. So I'm gonna press A to slice this because, look, so we have empty space right here. And the BPM looks like it's set up properly. We have the metronome on with the click track, but we don't have a click track, so we just turn that off. But as you can see, it's not hitting right on the downbeat. So that's where I would start. It's very crucial for you to just line it up, because let's say if you wanted to go into like a shuffle mode or whatever, and you wanted to highlight it, I mean, I think it still would work if you click this, shuffle, and then delete. But it'll probably introduce some sort of clicks and pops. As you can see, there's it's very, very small, but it's not like zero crossing or whatever. But it's got a lot of plugins for a beginner, huh? For real. Not even gonna lie, yeah. He has more plugins than me. I've been doing this shit for like 9 years, and there's a lot of plugins that I don't have, but that's besides the point. It's just because I feel like I don't need plugins, or I don't need every plugin. Yeah. But okay, cool. But okay, let's just go look at the beat in the beginning, right? So we have all this dead space. So we don't want this, right? Because if we just keep bouncing MP3s and then just dragging them in and not deleting the space or whatever, this is just going to be delayed more back. And then before you know it, this is a dramatic example, but your song is going to start over here and you're going to have this much of dead space. You don't want it. So it's just little things that you want to correct. So that's what I would do. So let's say we don't have any of this, right? What I would do when I'm setting up the session is input the tempo, and then I would just slice anywhere right here, like in the middle. Usually I'll slice like 4 bars. I'll slice the first 4 bars of the instrumental off. See, and you're doing -11 dB, so you're gain staging properly. That's a good plus. And then, but since we have all the vocal takes, I am gonna highlight all the vocal takes just so that way all the vocals stay on time. But usually this is what I'll do. So basically, I just make sure that this is hitting exactly on the downbeat so that everything is just perfectly locked into the grid. So we're gonna just, I'm holding control and clicking. Or if you're on Mac, you're gonna hold command and click to bypass the grid. So as you can see, I have my relative grid right here. I like using relative grid for the majority of my sessions. But if we zoom in, we can see it's not too on grid actually. Like we have the sample starts right here. So what I'm gonna do again is I'm gonna undo that real quick, make sure. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna highlight all this again, zoom in, and then make sure that this is starting properly on the grid. We're gonna go a little bit more deep into this. Click, hold command, and now we're moving into the sample. And as you can see, for anybody who's watching, this is like a very fine detail or whatever, but you want the polarity of the waveform, whether it's positive or negative. Positive meaning that it goes up, negative means that it goes down. And if you guys can see this little blue line right here, that's how you know if it's a positive or negative cycle or whatever for the polarity of the audio waveform. But you want it to start right, just right on the right of the grid line, okay? And then that's how you're gonna have everything locked into the tempo. Because another thing too, the reason why you want to do that, let me just undo it again real quick and just leave it how it was. So as you can see, it's not hitting right. But if you set up the tempo and you're using a click track, and let me just solo that real quick, and then let me create a click track, right? So that way you could hear it. But if you solo it and then you have a click track on and then you press play, it's not clicking right. And then if the auto tune is off, oh yeah, okay, yeah, the auto tune is off because it's the UAD auto tune. Just real quick, if you can read me the settings that you were using for the auto tune, and I could throw it in. Do we have a song key in here? No, we don't, which is fine, but it's because I don't have the UAD auto tune. So what I could do is I could just throw in an auto tune. So I'll just use like Auto Tune Pro. On Taurus, we're gonna do Autotune Pro, and then just let me know the key and like the retune speed and all that you use, then I'll copy it over if you have access to that. But we'll just do that. But as you can see, so if I solo it again, it's slightly off. So we just want to make sure that we correct that, just so in case if you're recording certain parts, like if I were to record on this section with no drums with the metronome on, everything would be slightly off, and those are things that we want to avoid when we're recording. We want everything to be right on time when the artist is listening, if you're recording yourself or another person, because we just want everything to snap perfectly onto the grid. Not perfectly, but just get a good gauge. So that's why we do that. Let me just make this click track inactive, highlight everything again, and then what we're gonna do is just put it back to where it was. So that way I'm actually gonna bring back the click track, right? And I see a lot of beginners making this mistake. A lot of beginners making this mistake. So don't worry about it, Mesro. If like a lot of beginners make that mistake. But now if we solo this and then if I bring the click track back, you're gonna hear that it's perfectly on grid. It's not slightly delayed. So that's the first thing I would do. Okay, so let me just hide and make that inactive. And then another thing that I would do too is sort of put the buses a little bit closer to each other, so that way visually you could see what's going on. Let me see. I'm not too sure if you have the auto tune settings, but what I could do too is, you sent me the bounce. If you guys don't have mixed in key, make sure you guys check it out. You know, like that's it's $50, but it's a well worth it investment. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add the song, right? So copy Mesro. This is the rough mix. I'm just not too sure what auto tune, like retune settings you have, but so it's D flat minor. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make this one active. We're gonna go to D flat, which is also known as C sharp minor. I'm just gonna put on low male, and then I'll just put it like at 7 for now. But I mean, you let me know what retune, flex, and humanize you have if you were using like something that had like those settings, so that way we're hearing it properly. Boom. All right, cool. And then so now that we have that, so as you can see, these are all going to these are going to the leads, these are going to the doubles. And then the ad-libs are going to the all Vox. Okay. D minor with the full retune speed. Alright, cool. Yeah, so let me just put this to 0 and just copy it over. Boom. So what I would do is I would move these buses closer. I'm not really a fan of having the buses down because I like to keep everything grouped. That way it's easier for the eyes to understand. This is just a personal preference. Obviously, if you like it this way, go ahead and do it this way. But let's look at what I like to do. So visually, I like to move it this. So these are outputting to the leads bus, so I'm gonna put the leads bus next to it. These are outputting to the doubles bus, so I'm gonna put the doubles bus next to it. So right here. And then this is outputting, the adlibs are outputting to the all vocals. So okay, so these aren't. Alright, so this is where it gets a little bit redundant, because we have the adlibs outputting to the all vocals, but we have an adlibs recording track outputting to the all vocals. So let's see. So is there anything being sent to the adlibs? Doesn't look like it. So there's just little things that don't make sense. So this adlibs track, really, you could just delete it. Is this because this is a recording track? And we don't have any adlibs being sent to it at all. G sharp minor, sorry. Okay. So it says on mixing key that it's D flat minor, so you might have put the key wrong. Let's see. I'll hear. Let me hear it on D flat first, but you might have put it in the wrong G sharp minor. Let me see. It might have been the wrong key that you put. Because again, on mixing key never lies. So it's saying 12A, D flat minor, but you're saying G sharp minor. So I'll still try it, but let me just hear it real quick on D flat. So that's the key of the song, C sharp minor, but you said you put G sharp minor. So let's try that one. And then let's copy that over and let's hear what that sounds like. So that may be another thing too. I mean, your ears might already be used to that sound. I mean, it's not too bad. So I think that's so passable. So that works. Okay, cool. Back to the grouping. So yeah, I just like to group everything so that way I could see it. And then this adlibs thing, from what I've seen, is not being used. This libs bus isn't being used, which it should be used. So let's fix that, right? So basically, this is going to the all vocals, but and with much like the doubles and the leads, right? But nothing's being sent to the adlibs track. So I'm just gonna send this to the libs. Key is G sharp minor. Let me see. Well, right here, on mixing key is saying D flat minor. There's no. If you guys don't know this about the Camelot wheel, there's unless you like, I mean, I don't have perfect pitch. So I rely on mixing key, but to me, mixing key is telling me it's G or D flat minor. And the way that the Camelot wheel works, if you want to find the relative keys for a song that you're recording, is basically you could use the 2 to the sides of whatever it's saying or 1 across. So right here it says 12A, so we could use D flat minor. We could use let me see. We could use F sharp minor, we could use A flat minor, or we could use E major. Those are all like relative keys. Just checked it from guitar. Yeah, you might have played it and you might have got it too. So I mean, we're gonna leave it at G sharp minor. I'm not really too well versed on music theory, but I just go based off of the Camelot wheel, and they sounded good both ways, so it's not too bad. But yeah, so we're gonna output this back to the actual libs. So let's see. So it's libs 1. So that way, these adlibs are being sent to here. So as you can see now, it's all grouped. So we have this, and this is the processing for this. We have this, and this is the processing for this, and then we have the adlibs, and then we could have the processing for this, right? And then all the vocals are going to be sent down to here. We have parallel compression that we're using. So we have SSO. Okay, that's perfectly fine to use. And then we have our reverbs. Okay, so another thing too that's very important is to name your buses. So because when you look bus 1, 2, bus 3, 4, bus 11, 12, that's very confusing. Like you want to be able to make this visually clear. Like you just want to make this clear enough for you so that way you could look at your session and not be guessing what's what. So that's what I'm gonna do here to fix it real quick. So bus 1, 2 is the parallel compression. So you just name it parallel and then you can put compression. Right, so you can see that's parallel compression. Bus 3 and 4, what is bus 3 and 4? It's the small, you call it reverb small. So I'm gonna rename that. I'm gonna put reverb small. And then if you don't want to like look at everything, literally just look, you can rename them from the inserts here. So you just right click and rename. So 5, 6, put reverb big. So we're gonna put reverb big. And then 7 and 8, that's quarter delay. So we're gonna put quarter delay. And then 9, 10 is the 8th delay. And then 11, 12's ping pong delay. I'm just put PP pause delay. Okay, cool. And then 13, 14 is flanger. I don't have that plugin though, but just for the sake of the video or for the live stream, just or for the session, for the sake of the session, just name it so that way you can know what's being what. And then this is your master. I don't really use master buses all too often, but yeah, so this is all being sent to the left, right. So you're doing your processing here, which is perfectly fine. It's the same thing, just slightly different. Because the thing about a master fader is if you were to adjust the volume on the fader, that's basically adjusting the level being sent into your plugins, which I mean that could be good, but usually yeah, I like using mixed buses instead of the master faders. That's just a personal preference. Okay, give me a second. I'm just gonna take a little breaky just to catch my breath. You know what I'm saying? How are you guys liking the stream so far? The first review thing, my hat fucking scratched me up. But how are you guys liking the session so far? Or I mean the live stream so far? And then, okay, cool. So now that we have everything grouped up, another thing that I would do too is just color coordinate everything. So we have our mains, right? So we could just color this one specific color. It's just little things, right? And then this one I'll highlight it and then just do like the darker version or whatever. I mean, you choose a color scheme that works for you. So we're gonna do and then for these are the doubles, right? So we're gonna do let's do, instead of green, let's do like a blue, right? And then we're gonna go to the doubles and then go to this blue, and then for the ad libs we could just do like a purple and then go to the dark purple for the libs bus. And then I like to usually leave this at like a red right here. And then for my sends, so parallel compression, yeah, that's the color you could have. Your reverbs have the color, your delays have the color, your flanger has the color. So that's all pretty good. So that's just where I would start. So now, as you can see, your session looks much more organized. That's the first thing that I would do. That's where I would start. For me personally, I'm just being extra, but I'm gonna do it how I usually do it. You really don't have to do it. So effects are on the bottom, but I like leaving all like my buses on the top. So that way it's just right there, because at the end it's like that's where it all ends up. And then okay, so then another thing too is all these effects, what you could do is you could put them in their own track. So you have an all vocals bus, but what I would do is I would also have an all effects bus. So that way. Also, do you have an idea why the recording stuff doesn't sound really professional? I'm using a TLM 103 with an Apollo Twin, and the room is not too bad too, but they still sound like that. So, I mean, that could just be either your delivery or just the way that you're setting it up. I mean, the beat is low. Maybe the only thing that you really need to do is just probably like okay, so let me just we'll go into that a little bit more when I mean, yeah, that's just raw. I mean, that's usually what a recording sounds like. As long as they're not clipping, they're good. So that's probably more of like, they don't sound bad. There's a few things like they sound boxy a little bit, but that's probably more of like a mixed processing thing, which is something that we could get into. But back to this, so I'm gonna go to the bus and I'm gonna route all the effects into the effects bus. right? This is just me being extra, resetting up the session. So we're gonna output this to, let's just say 1516. And remember, we have to rename it, so we're gonna put all effects. So that way all the effects are routed to the effects bus. And then I also like to put the beat in its own bus. So I'm gonna duplicate this. Oh wait, and then we gotta change this too. So all effects. And then we're gonna do so I like doing an all music bus. So I'm gonna put right here, rename it music. So this is all music. Choose an empty bus track. So we're gonna do 2324 and put all music. And then these get outputted to the left, right, which that's fine too. And then you don't need this shadow hills on these. And then these are being sent to bus 21, but what is bus 21 doing? See, that's why you gotta label your things. So I'm not too sure why they're being sent to bus 21 or what bus. Do you usually use parallel compression when mixing? If yes, how do you apply on vocals, drums, or you can apply to 808? Yeah, so parallel compression is like something that you just judge case by case. I don't really use it too often. I guess if I were to use any parallel processing, because it's not just parallel compression. You could do parallel saturation. You could do parallel, like obviously all the sends with the effects are parallel. Squash it, and then once you squash it, so this is being sent full volume, or well, the gain is right here. So we just gotta see how loud it's doing. But usually, what I like to do is I like to turn the fader down with a parallel compression, and I like to leave this 0, and then I like to just gain it up until I hear like a good blend of the parallel squash signal versus the dry signal. That's just kind of how I would go about it. But let's just leave it to what it was, and then this was set to 3. Okay. And then, okay, cool. So now we have all this done. So all music are all being sent to the left and right. This is the left and right. This is the processing for that. We could just have like a nice and neat session. Okay, cool. So these are, and then what I would name these two. So then it's also renaming. Like this is just, all of this is just session setup, but it's very important before we even start mixing. Like I haven't even mixed, I've just been yapping about the thing, but this is, I guess, like part of the session roast. You get what I'm saying? Because you got to keep these organized. So I'm gonna just call this libs bus. So you want to know what's a bus versus what's like an actual audio track. And again, making that easier is if you like, don't just call it doubles, just call it the doubles bus. You get what I'm saying? Or group or whatever helps you, so that way you know the difference. Like this is leads, like usually leads by itself is good, but we're just gonna put lead bus. And then okay, so this is the main vocals 1, main vocals 2, and then this is, I would just call this like main vocals double. So because that looks like a double track, so that's like a double track. And then these are like these look like ad libs. Let's see. Oh, okay. And you're in this is a different language. You said German, yeah. So I don't know if this means anything in German, but I usually name those. These are like ins and outs. And then this isn't actually a double. This is actually a stack because it's copying the whole thing. All right, cool. And then that's the doubles bus, and then this is the ad libs. So, okay. When is he dropping rubbish? I'm gonna go to the studio after this, and I'm gonna see him, so I'll ask him. But yeah, we just mixed that. I think he's uploading it soon. But yeah, we're gonna do rubbish soon. Okay. Oh look, Jamario's in here. What's good, Jamario? You gonna pull up to Pulse later? Or I don't know if you're at Pulse now. So bus 21 goes into soothe on the beat where the vocals are sidechaining it. Alright, see? So yeah, you got it. Yeah, bus 21. Okay. And then you had it set to 100%. And then let's hear that. So let's see what it's doing. See, but that's why you need to rename your stuff, because I would have never known. So I would rename this soothe, sidechain. That's why it's important for you to name everything, like, so that way, like, you know. So because if you wouldn't have told me, I would have never known. Yeah, rubbish, October 9. But yeah, that's why it's important to, again, name your sends as well. And then you said you were confused why send the effects into an effects bus, and the only real reason why I'm sending the effects into an effects bus is because, let's say I want to just mute all the effects with one quick little touch without muting anything else, just so I can hear what the dry vocals sound like in case I want to do some sort of processing. That's the only reason why I'm sending all these effects into another effect. Does that make sense? So like if I were to mute this, right? If I mute music, so whatever's being sent to these effects right here, not the like reverbs or delays that are on the individual tracks, but that's being sent to these effects down here, now they're muted, and it's just with one click of a button. But that's why I'd use these. That's why I use all music, all vocals, and all effects. Let's say I want to mute all the vocals and all the music. Now we're only going to hear the effects. Jampina is, yes indeed, Jamario, 100%. That's my boy Jampina. You could hear it in the other live streams. I always say my boy Jampina. But does that make sense, Mesro? Because you see, now I muted the music and the vocals, and now I'm hearing only the effects. And then and then we have two soothes, which we probably don't really need, but let's see the loudness too. So since we're using the master, so I'm not too sure if we had a limiter again, but or if you were using, like, yeah, you probably had like a limiter on there, but I'm just gonna throw a limiter to boost the signal. So it's all really just session setup, Mesro, that you could do a bit better. And then these, I like to leave all my effects a little bit smaller, so that way I kind of like can visually see. And then so we have our ad libs, we have our main vocals, or our layers, and then we have our main vocals. So now, and then this is the perks of having all these bust out properly, is now you can mute each individual thing and focus on whatever you want. So now that we have our session nice and organized, now we could focus solely on the each individual element. So now let me just completely bypass all the effects, and then I'm just gonna turn them on one by one. Let me see if I have any other submissions too. Do we have any other submissions? Let me see. No, not this one. This one. Let's see. Let me refresh this. No. So all right, we got time for you, Mesro. We're gonna go deep. We're gonna dive deep into this session, okay? So I bypass everything, and I'm muting all the layers and all the ad libs, and then I'm just gonna go one by one. So this is gonna be the last one for. So we just did two for today, which, I mean, let me know if you guys liked it. But let me start off with the first effect. So this is with no effects on. So the parallel compression is also adding some sort of level to it. Let's see how much it's squashing. So we could leave the parallel compression on as well, but just bypass everything else. And then let's see what everything's doing. Okay, so with the EQ, usually I won't boost this early, I just cut. So, and you're boosting with a fab filter. Let me see. It doesn't look like you had anything. I'm gonna remove the Gullfoss because I don't have Gullfoss, so obviously the sound may vary from mine to yours. But I don't really like boosting with, yeah, see, we're boosting with the fab filter here. That's usually not my favorite thing to do because it doesn't really have like a texture. It's a digital EQ. So I use the fab filter more for surgical reasons, and then I would use something like, I mean, the Saturn could add more texture to your top end, right? Or you could use something like a Pultec. If you want like a cheap Pultec, you could use the Waves Puigtec, which this is gonna add like more character and like tone versus just like a simple digital EQ. So that's the main reason why I don't boost with digital EQs like this or parametric EQs like this. So I'm gonna just remove that. Remove this for now, and then I mean this is fine. So you're removing some of that boxy tone, which is good. That's a good. And then you're removing some scratchy resonant frequencies right here, which that looks good. Like that doesn't look too out of the ordinary. Then you're going into the de-esser, which let's see what we're doing. Which simple de-essing, that's good. That's which is doing what it needs to do. You know, that's pretty straightforward. And then now let's look at the compressor. So we have a pretty low threshold, so we're compressing a lot. High ratio, like a medium attack, medium release right here. And we have the auto gain on, so it's automatically gaining. So let's see what this is doing. So only about like -5 dBs of gain reduction, so that's actually not too bad, because again, like with the signal you recorded at, so that's pretty decent too. I mean, everything's looking good so far. Usually, so if you feel like they sound like and then we have the tube tech right here too. Let's see what the tube tech is doing. Well, that makes sense. Pultec to boost, bro. That vocal could use some fresh air plugin. Yeah, see, either Pultec, fresh air, something different that's gonna add a little bit more tone than a digital EQ. Digital EQs don't really have a tone, which, I mean, you could use that, but it feels like I'm getting closer to that diploma DDorsEQ.com delay reverb saturation. What other plugins should I really be messing with? I mean, let me just continue with the explanation, and we'll go from there. We'll see what other ones, because that'll naturally come when I'm explaining it. Narant. So yeah, about 5 dBs of gain reduction is good, because yeah, you're if you look at the waveform too, you're not overly dynamic, so you don't really need to do too much compression with this. So that's another good plus. Let's see what the Saturn is doing. So the Saturn is lowering the lows more, boosting the low mids, cutting, boosting it. So it's doing all sorts of things. It's saturating all sorts of things. Let's see. Even if you boost with the Saturn, like, it sounds pretty good. Like, you could because it has like a tape saturation algorithm, so it's not just like digitally boosting the EQ on that section, but it's also saturating it a little bit, which is giving it like a nicer tone. So this is fine. I mean, like how it is, I just probably wouldn't boost too much of the lower mids. Probably just lower it a little bit personally. And then we're compressing again. Let's see what we're how much. Okay, look, so if you want your vocals to come forward within the mix with the second compressor, what I would do, or usually I tame the transients first, but if you have a faster attack, that's going to bring more of the artifacts because it's releasing quicker. So it's compressing and it's releasing quick. And with that quick release of the compressor, it's, again, introducing a little bit more saturation, which will bring your vocals more forward in the mix. And then we have a 6:1 ratio. So high ratio, but let's see what this sounds like. See, now we're not getting any compression. So let's just raise the threshold a little bit. Cool, let's boost the output a little bit.
3/4 und der Bass, er macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch, das sind
Alright, that's good. And then the soothe is taming.
3/4 und der Bass.
So I'm not against the soothe. Yeah, it's just doing simple taming. Let's see the multiband.
3/4 und der Bass, er macht mein Viertel.
Alright, so see this is where we're getting into the doing too much territory. This is doing too much because without it, it sounds perfectly fine.
3/4 und der Bass, er macht mein Viertel. 3/4 und der Bass, er macht mein Viertel.
Like you have to have a very specific reason as to why you're using multiband. You're taming the lows, taming the low mids, taming like the regular mids because they're not really upper mids. Or I mean, you're just taming like the mids / upper mids, and then the highs right here. Let's just say, I mean, it wasn't like that. It was like this, but I mean, it just looks like it's doing too much and it doesn't really need to be there. And I'm not hearing anything that's sticking out to me, so I would just avoid, not avoid it, but it just doesn't need to be there. And then we're gonna see the C6 real quick.
3/4 und der Bass.
Same thing, doing too much. Like we don't need to do all that. And then basically like everything has its purpose, and those multiband things, I didn't see a purpose or a need for them, so we could just take them off. And then the final EQ, so as you can see, we're boosting, we're cutting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut this. It looks like you use the same EQ for the same resonant frequencies, which I could leave there. I'm just gonna lower it a little bit, which is fine. So we could use that second EQ. Usually I'll put the EQ first and then the soothe. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a Pultec. If you don't have one, I'm gonna use the Waves one just so you can see, because this one's affordable. And then all you really have to do is then boost with something like this. And then I like to boost the Q right here, so I'm gonna leave it at 7 because it's more of a broad Q versus a narrow Q. Let me zoom in to make my expression make more sense. But this is what a broad Q looks like. This is what a narrow Q looks like. But I mean, I could even show you in the plugin. So again, narrow Q, right? Broad Q. So essentially what this bandwidth is doing is making the Q more broad. But it's making the Q more broad at 12 kilohertz, which is basically, it's hitting that 12 kilohertz frequency, but everything above it and everything below it, or basically to whichever one you have set right here. So I just play with these a little bit. I'm just gonna leave it at 12 for right now, and then let's just listen to it.
3/4 und der Bass, er macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ist ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre. 3/4 und der Bass. Hasch, das ist ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit. Nachts um 4. Weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die wollten ziehen vorbei, ich glaub, ich sollte das probieren. Die Moll, der Bass wie Bier. Ich seh den Mondschein in der Chain. Viel zu hell, okay. Fahr zur Hölle, ich bin elevated. Bin so schnell away.
So all I did was I just tamed a little bit of the lower mids that I was hearing, and then yeah, we have the boost, and then just raise the volume a little bit because I feel like the volume could be raised. And I mean, that's pretty much it, I think, for the lead bus. And then let's just take a look at what we got going on with like the stacks. So let's oh, sorry. And then we have the reverb here. So let's hear what the reverb response is at negative 12.3. Let's hear it full blast. Negative 12.3 now.
3/4 und der Bass, er macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch.
Exactly, metal rain music. That's exactly what we're doing now. So yeah, that's why all that. So we went from setting, like the session was like messy, to now organizing the session. Everything's set proper. That's why this is good. Now we have our buses named properly. We have everything routed. All this. This is like a perfect example to show you what you could do when you have a really neat session. Hopefully this is making sense. Are you still in here? What do you call it? Mesro, are you still in here? Cool, so now let's hear what the doubles are doing. So I'm just gonna mute the ins and outs real quick. So I'm gonna mute this and just hear what this one is doing.
3:15 und der Bass.
Actually, no. Before I'm getting ahead of myself. So we were going to the reverb. So the reverb sounds like it's not really in time with the BPM. I mean, maybe you did calculate it. Let me just double check. It just sounds like we could just play with the reverb a little bit. Thanks so much already, fam. Of course, yeah. So let's just see if it's in time. So let's divide this by 2, and then divide that by 2 one more time. Okay, so it's not really in time. Let's do this by 4. Okay, yeah. So the decay is in time. The pre-delay. I mean, you probably might have played with the pre-delay, but yeah, I would give it a little bit more pre-delay, because if you don't have like the pre-delay set in time or whatever, then the decay has like a different kind of feel, which isn't too big of an issue. But let's see. So I'm gonna do like not too dramatic from 11. I'm gonna just do the 14.64. And then let's hear it. And then we have, okay, so we have this. This is good. Just filter it a little bit.
3:15 und der Bass, macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch.
Seems like there's like a little delay for, oh, because we have the reverb big too. Or do we have any tracks here that are not being shown? No. Okay. Let's see.
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel.
So for this song, since the beat is a little bit darker, listen to the reverb on the guitar on the beat. So this is what I like to do when I'm choosing reverbs, is I kind of want to either match the ambience of the instrumental or create a completely different ambience. For this song, I kind of want to match it. There's obviously different scenarios where, like, if you want the reverb to kind of really be a sound within the mix, then you could make it sound different than the instrumental reverb, so that way it has a completely new space and environment and atmosphere. But for this song, since it's a little bit darker, the instrumental, and the reverb is filtered, I kind of want to match the ambience of it similar. Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of pros, yeah, they don't do too much. Like, again, that's why I took off some of the multiband plugins, because we don't want to be doing too much. There's no need. And the more plugins that you introduce to your signal, the more you're gonna, each time you introduce a plugin to your signal, guess what, guys? You're degrading the quality of your audio. That's just how it is. If you're filtering too much, and if you're saturating too much, and you're compressing too much and all that, realistically speaking, you're actually degrading it from its true original sound. So that's why, to be honest, it's sometimes better to use less plugins if you can, but sometimes there's cases where you can't use less plugins and you got to use a lot of plugins, and it's just all what you're going for, really. But back to the reverb. So I want to match the sound of the reverb, so all I'm really gonna do is just filter it a little bit more, since the sound of the reverb for the instrumental, again, listen to the reverb on the guitar. So it's there, right? But now let's listen to the reverb on the vocals. So let me just mute the music and the vocals only.
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel.
So it's too bright, and it just feels like it's in a different kind of like environment, and it doesn't really match the instrumental. But again, because that's because the reverb is a little bit darker on this. So for that reason, if you guys don't know, the color on the Valhalla Vintage Verb really does affect the sound of the Valhalla Vintage Verb. 70s is a little bit darker, 80s is a little bit brighter, and then the now version is like super bright. So for this, if I want it darker, I'm gonna put it to the 70s, and then you can play with these modes. These modes do actually affect the sound of it as well, but I'm just gonna leave it as is for right now. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna damp the frequencies, the higher frequencies, a little bit lower, so that way I'm not getting too a lot of that high end in there. You could filter it out, but I like dampening it a little bit, because filtering it out is just completely cutting it out. Dampening just kind of has a different sound to me, so that's why I'm gonna dampen the signal. So let's just let's mute the instrumental, and then let me just do it live with the vocals soloed.
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch, das sind dumme Bulle.
So if I open it,
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel.
Cut it.
3:15 und der
And then also too, we could filter it. Okay.
3:15 und der Bass macht.
So I'm hearing a lot of low mids that I don't really like on the reverb.
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3:15.
And let me just play with like a, I mean, it is a small reverb and you have the reverb big. Do you have them being sent? No, you don't have on this song them being sent to anywhere. So it's supposed to sound like a small reverb. I mean, because it's labeled, but for this song, I'm just gonna play with it. So let's just unmute the music and let's hear it.
3:15. 3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich schaue nachts um 4. Roll die weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die Wolken ziehen vorbei, ich glaub, ich sollte das probieren. Die Moll, der Bass wie Bier. 3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit.
So I'm just gonna leave it like that for right now. And then let me just unmute the doubles. Let me just mute the ins and outs, and let's just hear the stack real quick.
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed.
So the first thing that I would do with the stacks is I would filter out a little bit of the lows, because with the stacks, like, we already, okay, so the reason behind that is we already tamed a lot of the body on the lead vocals, and if we just didn't process any of the body on the stacks, then the stacks are gonna have body, when in all reality you want the stacks to kind of be tucked back within the mix and complementing the leads. That's why we're recording the stacks, right? We want it to add to the mix, not distract or take away from the mix. So if I solo the stacks right here, you're gonna hear how it has a lot of lower body and it's not really as bright, right?
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel.
So you hear, what I'm hearing is a lot more around this region.
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel.
Which again, we already did a lot to tame it on the leads, but I don't really want that on the stack. So that's why a lot of times I would just use like a simple EQ and roll off a decent amount of the lows. Not too much, we don't want it too filtered, but just enough to where it's not really distracting. And if you want, you could use like more of a gradual slope. I wouldn't do like 6 dB per octave. I would probably just do like 12 lowest, because then if you do too sharp, that's cutting off too much as well. So I'll do like 12, and then you could raise the frequency a little bit higher, so that way it's not cutting off too much of the lows, but still pretty high up there.
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweis.
What you could do with the stack too is you could boost the high on the stack a little bit.
3:15 und der Bass. 3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich rolle nachts. 3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel. 3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat.
The reverb is still a little too much for me.
3:15 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich schaue nachts um 4.
One thing I learned from David, Young, and Kim is that you have 8 insert effects when you feel like the mix is not sounding good. Need to mute the whole chain and bring individual plugins one after another to find the one. Yeah, exactly. It's just being more minimal with the approach, or more intentional too. Not necessarily minimal just to be minimal, but very intentional with the approach. So that's what we could do with the stacks. If you want to go a little bit crazy, you could like stereoize them with like something like a doubler or whatever, and then just make like the highs stereo. But I'm just gonna leave it like mono. Keep it simple too. You don't have to go real too crazy if you don't want to. Obviously, it all adds to the sound, but that's that. And then let's just mute that. Let's hear the ins and outs with the leads. So that's good. Yeah, this is good. This is already good. And then you could just do additional processing on the doubles. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna copy what I did to the leads, just so that way like I have like the same sound. Hold on, so let me start from the back. So let's do soothe. Okay, and then let's do the pull take, or okay, so I'm gonna just remove it from here and then bring it down here so that way it hits it. The MB we weren't using, the Pro Q3, we're gonna use this one. So now we have the same kind of sound. The tube tech we're gonna use right here. We're gonna bring the Saturn down right here. The Pro C right here. The Pro DS right here. And the Pro Q3 that we use right here. And the only reason why I'm doing that is just so that they sit in a similar space. And the flanger is being active, but unfortunately I just don't have this plugin. So we're just gonna make this inactive for right now, since I don't have it. It's probably adding to the sound, but we're just not using it. And then the quarter delay is working on this right here. So that's and is the ping pong delay working? Let's see. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then with the ping pong delay, what we could probably do too is just increase the feedback a little bit. Lower it though by a lot. Or what I'm actually gonna do is I'm just gonna leave it on the. I'm gonna move it down to the ins and outs because I don't want it affecting this. I just only want it to affect this. So how do you go about mixing boring songs? Well, it just kind of depends. Like you could only do so much. I think with work overall as a whole, it could get boring, right? Like if we're working, right, and we've become so like used to what we do or whatever, and like okay, like you're not gonna be thrilled or excited over every song. And if the song isn't bad, but you just find it boring, I mean, to make it fun, to answer your question simply, is you gotta find little ways that you could play with certain things that you find enjoyable, I guess. But that's why I bring it into the. That's why I say like work is work at the end of the day, and if you're working as a mix engineer, I personally don't think every song you mix is going to be fun. Sometimes you have to do it for the label, sometimes you do that, yeah, and it's literally just make a better song. But at the end of the day, it's like they're hiring you for a reason, and if you want to find joy out of it, I would just like find whatever you feel is fun and try to add that element into the mix if you have the ability to. So if you could play with effects and the artist is cool with you playing with some sort of effects or doing this or doing this or doing that, and if you have the artist with you in the room and you say, oh, I want to try this effect, I want to try that effect or whatever, then you can do that. But even, yeah, if the song's just not good, it doesn't matter what you do to it because it's not going to be fun. So like the thing about mixing boring songs, it's just like if it's a boring song, then yeah, just simply just make a better song, and if it's still boring to you, just figure out little ways to add excitement to it, whether you're using like throw verbs, throw delays, special effects, panning in a different way, or playing with creative effects. And that's just more of like a thing that you have to kind of play with from time to time, because yeah, as a mixing engineer, making it a career, it's like after you get too good at it, even when you do all this stuff or whatever, something that somebody finds exciting, you're probably gonna find boring. It's happened to me where like I'll do like a simple beat cut and then it'll play in, like, to me, I'm just so used to a beat cut within a verse and then just playing it, maybe like a little reverse reverb into it, and then people just go crazy like, whoa, that's insane. But after you do that a billion times, you're just like, bro, like, it's just normal. So I mean, I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's all about delivery, it's all about making the song better, it's all about all those sorts of things. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, work is work, you know what I'm saying? And if you're doing this professionally, you just gotta find little things that inspire the reason why you got into it, I guess. That's kind of like a deep question, because there's no real answer to it. And then just try new things too. That's, if it's boring, just try new things. Alright, now let's, is this being outputted to the libs? Yeah, and let's solo this. Okay, so this is being sent to the delay and the, alright, so let's I mean, that already sounds cool, let's see.
Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das sind immer Bulle, da keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich schaff.
Ups.
7/8 und der Bass macht 9/4 wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das sind dumme Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich rolle nachts um 4. Roll hier weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die Wolken ziehen vorbei, ich glaub, ich sollte das probieren. Die Moll, der Bass vibriert. Ich seh den Mondschein in der Chain. Viel zu hell, okay. Fahr zu hell, ich bin elevated und so schnell away. Es gibt keinen Key für diesen Cage. Würde aufhören, aber ich bin so. Würde aufhören, aber ich bin so verliebt in die. Aufhören, aber ich bin so verliebt in dieses Game. Und diese Nacht war so wie letzte auch. Nicht so den besten Lauf. Ja, der Himmel der Westen auch. 3/4
See the little see how it has that little clip. You want to make sure you're also cleaning up your clips properly. You don't want any little little mouth clicks or takes from other things that you didn't use or whatever in there, because that's gonna come out in the song, especially when you listen to the songs in like earphones, like some AirPods or something like that. You're gonna hear all those little details. So you may not, and that's the thing, is like you may not hear that on speakers. But I think pretty much done with the song. I'm just gonna run through it a little bit.
7/8 und der Bass macht 9/4 wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das sind dumme Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich rolle nachts um 4. Roll hier weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die
Cooler bass, like you need bass riff. Yeah, see, all that at the end of the day, that's just production. So that's on the production side. So I'm not a producer, I mean, well, like, I know how to, and I probably could at it, but if you guys have that skill of producing, then yeah, that's just something completely different. But I mean, as far as like how the 808 is hitting, the 808 is hitting fine. But if it feels like a little bit repetitive or whatever, that's just all. Nice funky Spanish bass would make the song more fun. Yeah, see, that's all just like little production things. But for what we got, it's doing its job. And then, okay, so we have like this Pro Q3. Okay, whoa, we do not need this. See, so we're filtering off a lot, filtering off even more. All this, yeah, I'm glad I look at that, because look, boom, just take that off. Mix is like instantly better.
3/4 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed.
That's same low mids, I guess. So that's what
3/4 und der Bass.
and then these already have low mixes, or this could have like a lower mix. I mean, you just left that there, so I'm gonna leave that there. And then I like clipping a little bit before I go into my final limiter, just to tame those peaks.
3/4 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ist ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich alle nachts um 4. Ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich alle nachts um 4. Roll hier weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die Wolken ziehen vorbei, ich glaub, ich sollte das probieren. Gib mal der Bass wie Bier. Ich seh den Mondschein in der.
And this like little vocal thing, you could just like probably just throw like a filter and this is just me playing around with stuff. So you can just throw like a little filter right here, vocals. Oh, whoops. Vocal cleanup, vocal filter that out. And then just throw like a Valhalla. And then we have our decay time, so we'll do 2.34. And then the pre-delay we'll do 2929. And let's just hear it. Unsolo that.
Mal der Bass wie Bier. Ich seh den Mondschein in der Chain. Viel zu hell, okay. Fahr zu hell, ich bin elevated. Bin so schnell away. Es gibt keinen Key für diesen Cage.
So real quick, that's like the mix. Let me just bring, cause he has the rough in there. Let's just hear like the rough. Or no. Yeah, let's bring the rough in here. How do you know a plugin should be in stereo or mono? So, just depends on what you're going for. Give me 1 second. I'll answer that right now. Let me just grab this, grab this, grab this, grab this, grab this. So this is the rough. I want to hear the rough versus the mix. But so how to know what effects. This is gonna, okay, so this is why we do a mix bus. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna do a mix bus for this, because if not, then it's gonna send the rough all to this master, and I do not want that. So I'm just gonna copy this, copy this, copy this, copy this, and then go right here. I'll put this to the mix bus. So let's just use an available bus. Looks like we might not have one. 1718 renamed mix bus, and then input bus. Where's mix bus? I put it right here. Boom. That's why we use mix bus instead of the master fader, because the master fader, if we were to import like another see, this is the rough. I don't want this to route to this and then process by this. So I'd rather do a mix bus than a master fader. So that way I could like solo this and only hear this, and then solo this, and this is being output to its own thing. And then how do you know what plugin should be in stereo or mono? It's just like whatever vibe you're going for. I mean, like if you like, it's just like simple stuff like. Obviously, like a micro shift or something like that's gonna make a signal stereo. So after this, every plugin is just going to be stereo. Mono plugins usually are just for vocals, but so all these plugins right here, they're mono actually. Okay, so that's interesting because see, that's something that I didn't catch. So this bus, I actually want it to be stereo. I don't want it to be mono. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new lead bus track that's stereo, and I'm gonna put lead bus stereo, And the only reason why I'm doing this is because I want to since I have watch, I'll explain right now. Since I have look, so I have this right here, right? This is a vocal track that is stereo, but it's being sent to mono. So that's what I didn't catch. It sounded a little funny to me too. Oh, let me mute that. And then gotta solo save that. Let's see. Mute this. What's not? Beats. Yeah, I think routing in Unity Luna is quite simple as compared to Pro Tools. Have you tried Unity Luna yet? Nah, I haven't. Haven't really tried it. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I could give other DAWs a try later down the line. But let me see. So what happened here with the routing? It's funny because you say that as like the routing's like off now. Is there a secret God particle that we got going on here? Oh, I'm stupid. I created an audio track, not a aux track. I'm just putting AX because it doesn't let you do that. All right, cool. That's why. And then we could just delete this and then input this to the mix bus and then output this here to left, right. And then we're just going to use the red, delete that AX, and then now it should work. Alright, cool. And then, yeah, so what I was saying is, if I solo this, that's a mono reverb, which that is not what I was going for. I actually want to output this, so this could take the leads, leads.1. Where's the leads.1? Vocal bus 1 bus leads.1 mono. This isn't taking the leads.1. Oh yeah, there it is. This one should take the leads.1. Let me just just to make this simpler, just delete this. I'm only doing this for demonstrational purposes, but I'm gonna include a mono to stereo plugin. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna change everything into a stereo insert. So now you can see this track is stereo. So now if I solo it, so now it's stereo. So now it sounds better.
Sollte das probieren, geh mal der Bass vibriert. Ich seh den Mondschein in der Chat.
So now it's wider, that track, and that's why I like leaving my buses stereo just for that specific scenario. So let's say if this was mono and I put a reverb on it and this is being routed to the bus and the track is stereo but the bus is mono, it's gonna leave that signal mono, which is something that we want to avoid. So that's why I like leaving my buses in stereo, and that's why that's kind of how I differentiate the two. But that's a good question. So now what I want to do is I want to hear the rough versus the little mix that I did. Obviously I could have gone way more in depth, but let's just hear what it's sounding like. So this is the rough.
Dreiviertel acht und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind Dreiviertel Weed, das sind ein Viertel Hasch. Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich rolle nachts um 4. Roll hier weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die wollen ziehen vorbei, ich glaube, ich sollte das probieren.
So I don't think it's a fair comparison because there wasn't a limiter, but just to like help the rough out, let's just put like a limiter. That's just, or yeah, let's just copy the limiter that I had here. Let's see if it's I don't want to. Let's just lower this real quick because I don't want to. Yes, that's compressing way too much, or limiting way too much. Just do it like at 7. And then now we're good. So we helped the rough a little bit.
7:45 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch.
That's the mix. This is the rough.
3:45 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das sind dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit.
Let's get a yeah. You're saying yeah, but it autocorrect's correcting you for yeet, huh? I know what you're talking about. But let's get a round of applause for Bryce. Appreciate you, Bryce. Thank you for the very kind comment. Yeet. Yeah, no, I hate autocorrect. I turned autocorrect off on my phone for that same reason, bro. But yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, so damn, so you're a real one, a real day one supporter, because yeah, that Yeet video was about 2 years ago now. But yeah, thank you, man. Like I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are able to learn. I mean, let me know if any of you guys have also learned from the channel. Thank you. I mean, but yeah, I mean, going back to the session, so if we listen to the before and after, like the vocals were a little bit more back in the mix, behind in the mix. That's what I was hearing. They weren't as clear, weren't cutting through. And then also too, just the session was like messy. But now if we look at this, like the session is pretty clean for the most part from what it was. And that's exactly what you really want. Yeah, of course, Mesro, of course. Yeah, so let's hear the hook a little bit from the right here, and then listen to the mix.
3:45 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das sind dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich schaue.
Yeah, Echo Boy and Microchip, just sound toys in general, they're clutch as fuck.
3:45 und der Bass macht mein Viertel wach. Das sind 3/4 Weed, das sind 1/4 Hasch. Das ist ein dummer Bulle, der keine Beweismittel hat. Bitte gib mir nur noch ein paar Jahre Zeit, bis ich schaue nachts um 4. Roll hier weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die Wolken ziehen vorbei, ich glaube, ich sollte das probieren.
Listen to the difference on like that little verse section. It's like very quiet on the rough.
Ich schaue nachts um 4. Roll hier weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die Wolken ziehen vorbei, ich glaube, ich sollte das probieren.
And then to the mix.
Ich schaue nachts um 4. Roll hier weg, weil alle Leute wollen was von mir. Die Wolken ziehen vorbei, ich glaube, ich sollte das probieren. Gib mal der Bass wie Bier. Ich seh den Mondschein in der Chain. Viel zu hell, okay. Fahr zu hell, ich bin elevated. Bin so schnell away. Es gibt keine Key für diesen Cage. Würde aufhören, aber ich bin so verliebt in dieses Game. Und die
Yep, but that's pretty much it from me. Boom, boom, boom. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Mesro, if you want, I mean, if you like the mix, I could probably just send it to you if you want. Get a quick little mixy. It's just a light mix. Like if I really wanted to go into the more in depth, I'd probably spend a little bit more time on the reverb, a little bit more time on like the throws, and add little aspects of that or whatever. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty much it for me today. I think yeah, you were DMing me on Instagram. So if you want the session, I could just send it back to you. But I mean, that's all I have for today because I actually have to go to the studio session. The label is calling. Let's just say that. But yeah, I gotta hit the label out here in LA. I gotta hit Pulse Recording Studios. Gotta help out with some sessions, or whatever. You gotta charge them a little bit. Nah, I'm just doing this one out of love, just for right now. If you got, but hey. If you guys want to support the channel, you can hit the the super thanks and just leave a message like, oh, thank you, bruh. You know, you don't have to, but greatly appreciated. But yeah, gotta hit the label. I actually gotta get some food. After I get some food, hit the record label, Pulse Recording Studios in LA. It's just gonna be a vibe. But I mean, that's it for today's stream. If you guys are watching the replay, for those who are watching the replay and you made it this far, just comment something, let me know that you made it this far. And then for all of you guys who made it this far, let me know if you guys fuck with it. A free template, literally, yeah, custom made too. This is a custom template, like I literally set it up. So yeah, and then Mesro, yeah, if I send this to you or whatever, and you want to keep this template or whatever, all you have to do, so that way you have to do it, you don't have to recreate it, is you go to File and then Save as Template, and then watch, and then you make sure Include Media is checked off, so that way you have it. But before you save it as a template, if you were wanting to do that, make all the soothes inactive, all the limiters inactive, any plugin that's going to cause a delay. These, I wasn't using them in low latency mode. You have to use them in low latency mode. Saturn, and the way that you know if a plugin is causing delay, see, this has 2,921 samples of delay, which is most likely the soothe. Okay, cool. And then we're just going to take that away, take the tube tech away. What else is causing some latency? The Fab Filter Pro DSC. So all these, you want the delay to be at 0. But yeah, I mean, I guess basically free template. Tight shit. Send it when you got time. Yeah, oh, wow, I was fucking explaining all that shit and it wasn't even showing the screen. My bad. But yeah, so yeah, if you were to save this as a template, you go to File, Save as Template, and then make sure Include Media is checked off. Press OK, and then before you save it as template, make all of these inactive, all the soothes, all the orange clip, because if you see, we have 7,270 samples of delay, which is gonna cause a lot of latency. So you got to make sure all of this stuff is inactive. Make sure Autotune is set in low latency mode if you wanted to save it as a template, and then just look for all these plugins one at a time with the thing. So I'm holding Command or Control. Command on Mac, Control on Windows, find the delay thing, and then just bypass the plugins that are causing a bunch of delay. So you see, like the Pro DS and Soothe, I would just make them inactive, but the rest you could leave on. Anyways, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this on, turn all these back on, mute this, or mute the clip of that, leave all that on. All this is looking good, all this is looking good. And yeah, I'll send that to you once I'm done. But appreciate you guys for tapping in. Again, yeah, if you made it this far into the stream or this far into the replay, let me know if you guys fuck with the session breakdowns, and if you guys want to see more of it in the future. I'm not really too focused on doing this frequently, but if you guys enjoy it, I wouldn't mind doing this type of thing like once a month, you know, if you guys need live feedback on your stuff. And hopefully, I mean, let me know if it helped you guys at all. But yeah, that's it for me today. Let's get a big round of applause for you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Thank you guys for watching. Cheers.